biggest question today is, where is teacher Kojo? Where is the comedian teacher Kojo? Since 2021, teacher Kojo left our screens. He left social media. He left everything that has to do with what we used to know him for. And now for over 4 years, we can't find teacher Kojo. Teacher Kojo's account on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other social media platforms have been dormant for over 4 years. Now, the most important question is, if teacher Kojo is not on social media, then where is he? Because even in real life, we don't see him at public, places. We don't see him. How could he just disappear from the surface of the earth? Now there's a breakdown. When the free SHS, policy started in 2017, a lot of experts actually poo-pooed it. They said it was a bit rushed, and they don't understand why the president at the time, Kwadwo, was rushing himself to actually put up a policy without actually fixing the most fundamental problems, like, providing adequate classrooms, ensuring that there are enough facilities, making sure that the food is good. When those things are not in place, you can't just rush yourself to, implement free SHS policy because you just made a promise to the people. But as you know, Kwadwo is not someone who listens to divergent views and opinions, right? So it's made people in the education sector to start speaking out. And one of them were teacher Kojo. A lot of headmasters who spoke up at the time were either transferred, terminated, or dismissed from the Ghana education system. So teacher Kojo, because of his influence on social media, decided to be that voice. And he did it for a while. From 2018 to 2021, he was the voice. He was moving from villages to villages, towns to towns, actually talking about the poor state of our educational system as far as our public, schools are concerned. And because he was teaching in the public school at the basic level, he was more focused on basic infrastructure. And there was so much rot. There was so much to report on, from dilapidated buildings to lack of teachers, to lack of textbooks, lack of stationaries. The whole system was falling apart, but we didn't know. And teacher Kojo was actually that voice. Now, that did not help teacher Kojo's cause, because big people in the political system and big people, supervising the Ghana Education Service at the time, actually told that if he did not, stop trumpeting the rot in the system and all that, his, termination was just imminent. And it happened. In 2021, the Ghana Education Service actually issued a statement where they gave 8 reasons why they think teacher Kojo was not fit for purpose as far as, teaching in the public sector was concerned. So they gave their reasons. They said, among other reasons, plenty of reasons. I don't want to go into those reasons because even for me, they do not make sense to me. And I feel like if your manager wants to sack you, they'll always find a way to sack you. But even if you are the best worker at your workplace, right? So that was what happened. So they came up with a reason. But we know that it was a move to silence teacher Kojo and also to silence a lot of people who were actually coming out speaking about the rot in the system. Now teacher Kojo left without, saying goodbye. And even though there's a new government in power, teacher Kojo says he's not coming out of his hideout. Now, my problem is, it's not even a problem though, but my concern is, how long is teacher Kojo going to stay in his hideout? Are we going to see him come out to speak about what really happened? He granted an interview recently where he spoke about the fact that his expulsion from the Ghana education system was actually spearheaded by people at the top. And so that was how come he had to hide himself. And he also stated emphatically that his life was in danger. There were numerous threats. He was being followed. His security and safety as a Ghanaian was jeopardized. At that point, he was seen as an enemy of the state. And who was the president at the time? Your guess is as good as mine, right? So if anybody is speaking about culture of silence, this is my point, that if teacher Kojo was silenced, he was silenced because he was doing the right thing. So nobody should turn around and be like, there's culture of silence now because Mahama has been spoken to in a very terrible way, where someone is sitting on TikTok and speaking about the fact that he's going to, terminate the life of the president and also the first lady and other people in government. There's a helicopter crash and we are all mourning, and you decide to use the opportunity to score political points. And you'll not be silenced because they don't want you to speak. You'll be silenced because you have been a threat to our security. Because if the president is not safe, then you and I, we are not safe in the country. So culture of silence was actually when teacher Kojo was silenced, and up to now he can't even come out, even though there's a new government in town. That is real culture of silence. And if you're an NPP person, bro, your party just went out of government for 7 months. You can't teach the new party about governance. If you have any good governance to lecture anybody on, go back to teacher Kojo and go and help him come back into his social media life. Until then, I'm bongo ideas.